everybody, and welcome back another week and another episode of Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. I'm Richard, and of course, joined by Waffle. Waffle, how's it going, man?
Going good, man. Everything's been pretty good. Another week moving along, ready for another weekend of football. Now with my team having a Thursday night game instead of a Saturday night game, so it's lit, stress-free weekend,
I
at
know,
least on
yeah.
Saturday. So
Yeah, meanwhile, I get to have another stressful weekend in college football and possibly for the NFL, too. So we'll
right.
dive into those real quick, and we'll start with the NFL. And Waffle, we'll start with you first. Let's start happy first. Let's start with a win.
Okay.
Titans get their first win over the Las Vegas Raiders. It wasn't easy. It never is easy, it seems like, if you're a Titans fan, but you end
Nope.
up getting the win and holding off the Raiders at the last second to knock off Las Vegas 24-22. Despite Derek Carr kind of looking like the old Derek Carr, but defense really stepped up when you needed it to. And the Titans get their first win of the season at home and send the Raiders to 0-3. So, Waff,
Mm.
tell me about it. So, what were you thinking during this just kind of a pretty wild game between the Raiders and the Titans?
Yeah. Well, this was definitely a must-win game for both teams. I'm fortunate and very happy that Tennessee came out on top, albeit not easy. But Tennessee played a very good first half. I mean, up 24-10 at halftime. Things are pretty good, but we didn't score a single point in the second half, which is an issue. And the Raiders almost came back and won, thanks to some questionable coaching decisions and some banged up secondary play on the part of the Titans. So either way, I'll take you through it rather briefly. But Tennessee opened up the game with a 12-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. That was great. I mean, great to see there. And Tennessee, despite being 1-2, are 3 for 3 on their opening drives in each game. So first drive Titans are the best team best offense in the league. So too bad it's not just a one and done. You know what I'm saying?
Play the whole game.
Right. So well, Tennessee started with a little screen pass to Derrick Henry that went for 23 yards, which he almost bobbled it. That I swear he is one of, if not the best running back in the league, but God, that boy cannot catch. I tell you what, it's been a problem for years. But either way, Tennessee drove it all the way down the field and punched it in. With Ryan Tannehill throwing to Jeff Swaim, of all people, of course, it had to be Jeff Swaim, getting a touchdown. But defense was rough. I'm not going to lie. Raiders got a field goal next. Titans answered back with another touchdown, and then the Raiders got another touchdown. So 14-10. And then Tennessee got another touchdown. So 3 drives, 3 touchdowns for Tennessee. So great first half so far. We forced the Raiders to punt, and then unfortunately we give it right back on a punt. Raiders punt, and then Tennessee. We do have some pretty good clock management here. 21 seconds left before half, and we end up getting in field goal range. So good for the Titans there. Glad they didn't play it safe and got that 3 points, because the final score was 24-22. That was the difference in the game. So
yeah.
And then the second half, Tennessee, Oakland, God bless, Vegas gets a field goal on a 14-play drive. Defense was shaky for Tennessee, but they had that bend don't break mentality for a lot of it, which is Tennessee's no stranger to. That's kind of how they've been past couple years. But Raiders get a field goal. Tennessee then throws an interception. This was not a great throw. Looked like miscommunication. Robert Woods didn't break off his route as fast as Ryan Tannehill thought he was going to, led to an easy interception, but it didn't matter because the Raiders went 3 plays, negative 10 yards. Tennessee gets it and then goes for it on 4th down in no man's land and does not get it. And then Derek Carr throws an interception. Titans punt. Raiders get a field goal, so it's 24-16. Tennessee has a chance here where they could end it. There's 3 minutes left, and Tennessee goes 3 plays for negative 1 yard, because of course they do, and punt the ball back to the Raiders, which I want to mention again. Ryan Stonehouse, new punter for Tennessee, was
Solid
averaging
punter.
He was averaging 57 yards a punt coming into this game. And after this, he averages 58 yards a punt. So another great game. He improved his average. Love Ryan Stonehouse. Like I said before, a great punter is a weapon. So, but the Raiders go on a 14-play, 81-yard drive in a minute and 43 seconds.
Yeah.
And end up scoring a touchdown to make it 24-22. They go for 2. Praise God, they didn't get it because I was about to explode. And Tennessee gets the ball back after the onside kick is recovered by Austin Hooper. And Tennessee needs it out. So overall, obviously, first half, great offense was clicking. Tannehill was 19-27, 264 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. So once again, not a fantastic day from Ryan Tannehill. He's not turning any heads, but he did what he had to do, minus the interception, which was bad, but the defense actually held up. So the interception really didn't hurt.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry got it going a little bit on the ground game. I mean, he had 85 yards on 20 carries. And he did have a rushing touchdown. He also had 5 receptions for 58 yards, something that we're not used to with Derrick Henry. But if they can, if they can establish Derrick Henry as a pass catcher, that's going to open up a lot of stuff. So very excited about that. Robert Woods had 4 receptions also with 85 yards, had 9 targets, which only 4 receptions on 9 targets is not amazing, but they're targeting him. So that's great to see. And as far as the defense goes, leading tackler for Tennessee was Roger McCreary, the rookie, who played a pretty solid game. But here's where I'm going to criticize Tennessee's coaching staff. Last year, we drafted Caleb Farley in the first round, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Obviously, there were some injury issues with him, but he was a very good college player. Titans feel like they got him as a steal because he would have normally gone higher had he not been injured his last year of college. And they rolled the dice the same way with Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons in 2019 had torn his ACL not long before the draft, so you didn't really know when he was going to play. But Tennessee rolled the dice and picked him late first round, and he's turned into one of the best defensive tackles in the league. So they take a chance with Farley here. He plays a little bit last year, tears his ACL. So unfortunate. Now coming back this year, Farley's got a starting spot, pretty much opposite Christian Fulton, you would think. But no, he has not looked too great. And rather than throw him out there on a day where your secondary is still banged up, we take a guy off the practice squad. I can't remember where we got him, but it's Terrence Mitchell, a guy we literally just signed off the practice squad like 3 days before this game to come in and play and guard freaking Devontae Adams and who's the other receiver that went off for the Raiders? Matt Collins.
Mm-hmm.
And God, Terrence Marshall got freaking torched all day. Like I would so much rather put Caleb Farley out there and let him get torched like that than I would Terrence Mitchell. What sense does that make to bring somebody off the practice squad 3 days ago, not even our practice squad, and then throw him in there like that? Like I don't understand that. Why would you not just put Farley in there? That doesn't make any sense to me. Farley must be worse than I think he is, which is also not a great sign. But Mitchell got absolutely torched. There was an issue there. And Matt Collins for Vegas had 8 receptions, 158 freaking yards.
Yeah.
And a touchdown. So he caught the pass. He caught the touchdown at the end of the game that would have tied the game had they gotten that 2-point conversion. But Tennessee's defense still a concern. Couldn't really stop Vegas in the first half, with the exception of a couple times. But just getting gashed, and they're not healthy either. But Tennessee's defense got a lot of work to do, but the offense has something they can build on. The first half was really nice. And then the second half, just stupid. The second half was so dumb. Run, pass, and things like that. Derrick Henry really didn't even hardly get any carries. And if you look at Derrick Henry, I swear to God, if you go look at his stats over the last 3 or 4 years, the second half of a football game, he has way more rushing yards than the first half. Run Derrick Henry in the second half, like I'm begging you. And Derrick Henry ran pretty well in the first half, so I don't understand why they didn't do that. But excuse me. And a couple more things that I saw on Twitter that I wanted to shout out about the Titans. Let's see. The Titans, Ryan Tannehill's efficiency ranks on first down. He is third overall in overall efficiently and third in third place in air yards. And then on all downs, he's 10th in efficiency. So for what it's worth, Ryan Tannehill has been pretty efficient as far as the season goes. Now he's had a couple stupid interceptions here and there, but you know what? I think he's doing enough. And if they can get the play column figured out and run Derrick Henry a little bit more in the second half when these teams are wearing down, I think Tennessee's going to be fine. You saw it in the first half: 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. It was clicking. Like, this team has the potential to do that. Albeit second half was bad, but either way, we got to win. First win of the season, a must-win game. 1-2 is a lot better than 0-3. I'll tell you that right now. And then you know, in the AFC South, which it is weaker, but we'll show you some scores here in a minute that might suggest the AFC South is not as weak as you think it is. But anyway, Titans win. I was happy. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't just stall out in the second half, of course. And Derek Carr is a good quarterback still and has weapons around him. Hunter Renfrow noticeably didn't do anything in this game, which was interesting.
He didn't play. He didn't play.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha. So yeah, that was interesting. But you had a guy like Matt Collins step up. Another thing I noticed is the Raiders did 2 flea flickers in this game. That is my coaching style. They did the double pass to Derek Carr that went for a while. Then Matt Collins threw 1 too, all in the first half. So I was like, yes, let's go. Keep doing this. Also, interesting note with a touchdown catch, Devontae Adams. Someone said that's the 18th game Devontae Adams has called a touchdown pass from Derek Carr in a row, going back to Fresno State days. So that's wild to think about. That's how good of a connection they have. In their first year together, they just picked right back off and left off, almost 10 years ago now. Picked right back up. So that's really cool to see that. But yeah, good Titans win. I think, like I said, just gotta get Derrick Henry going in the second half. Gotta get him going. That's where the success has been for the Titans, and they gotta keep it going there. So, so move on now, and then I'll talk about the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills had the biggest game of the day, arguably in the entire NFL, taking on the Miami Dolphins on the road, and it was hot in Miami. It was 99 degrees on the field, sunny day. Bills felt all of it with the humidity. But you know what? You're thinking, but the Bills have had success against Miami. They had won 7 straight in Miami. Had rolled over the Dolphins. And, you're thinking, okay, there's a good chance they can do this here because both 2 weeks in a row against good teams. Titans, who won the AFC South last year, Rams, who won the Super Bowl last year, they dominated both of them. But this is the first day game for the Bills. And, well, they opened up 10-play, 75-yard drive for a touchdown. Looked like they hadn't missed a beat. And then defense gets a stop after 5 plays, but a fumble strip sack. As Josh Allen gets sacked, Melvin Ingram recovers it. 3 plays later, touchdown for the Dolphins, tied 7. And this was a Buffalo team, had injuries all over the offensive line, injuries all over the field, especially secondary. Micah Hyde announced he's done. He's on the IR. So you don't have him. Jordan Poyer was out too. A bunch of rookies out there, a bunch of guys who have, again, this is their first time going out there starting. But then Bills come out, 14 plays, 75-yard drive, score another touchdown. Take a lead. Then the Dolphins answer back, tied at 14, pair of punts. And then the Bills try to get a chance to end the half. And first miscue of the day, Mitch Moore's out. He's injured. And then, so you have a backup center. Well, your backup center is a right guard who does not snap the ball. And Josh Allen has to go under center. And he was going to spike it. But Josh Allen, because the snap was a little high, bobbles the ball, has to throw it away. He tries to just throw it away out of bounds. Almost gets picked. It gets tipped. Stephon Diggs catches it. Dolphins are paying attention because they think they're going to run an actual play. Tackled, inbounds, clock runs out, in field goal range. Nothing happens. So that's the first miscue on the offense. Secondly, like we said, it was hot. Bills are in the sun. I don't know what the conditioning was for the Bills all week, but you got to know it's going to be hot in Miami in September. I don't care. Like, it was 67 in Buffalo, but that's at night. It's also 60. Also Buffalo, different climate than Miami. Los Angeles was indoors. You got to be chugging water. You got to be ready to go. And like, even Stephon Diggs, he said, he on Ben Lebatard's show today, they interviewed him about it. He said that he had 2 IVs in him because he was losing so much water. How does that happen for a professional team? How do you not tell your guys, like, as soon as Monday's game ended, someone should have looked up the weather report and said, just start chugging water now. Because it's going to be hot. It's going to be awful. So second half comes, 3 and out for the Dolphins. The Bills go on a 20-play, 87-yard drive, and it ends in a field goal. Should have been a touchdown. Gabe Davis wide open in the end zone. Great play by the Miami defender. I believe it was Howard. Knocked it out of his hands at the last minute as he was trying to pull the ball in. Should have been a touchdown. Not. Great play by the Dolphins. 17-14. Bills defense comes out next drive, and Tua throws a ball right to Matt Milano. It goes right into Matt Milano's hands, similar to the pick 6 he had against the Titans, and he would have had another one, and Matt Milano drops it. Got a punt. Bills go down, and they stall out after another good drive, 6-play, 60-yard drive. And Tyler Bass, who's been straight Bass homie, comes out, misses it. So Dolphins still alive. And at this point, instead of being up 6, you're only up 3. You've got 3rd and 22 after Raheem Mostert, after a penalty, then a sack, then Raheem Mostert does nothing. You got a chance. And last year, you saw Tyreek Hill do this with Jordan Boyer and Micah Hyde out there. This time with nobody. With Jordan Hamlin out there, Joquan Jones out there. Jalen Waddle runs right down the middle, wide open, catches a 45-yard pass, gets in the red zone. There's a weird penalty call in the end zone, and I'm mad about Jaquan Jones. Hit with the shoulder, one of the receivers for the Dolphins. They had late flag, says unnecessary roughness. I think Jones couldn't slow down because it was kind of to the head. I get it, but I'm also wondering what Jones has to do there because he couldn't do anything. But regardless, I mean, it gives him first and goal at the 3. It's only a 2-yard difference. Jaquan Johnson, pardon me. Chase Edmonds powers to the end touchdown. 21-17. Well, the Bills get drive back. Another long drive. 17 plays. Get all the way to the 1-yard line. And at some point, Josh Allen ripped off Christian Wilkins' helmet because he got mad at him. Josh Allen, again, intense. Love the intensity. You got to calm down, especially in those situations. Like, if you get hit hard, I know you don't like it. It may have been a late hit by Christian Wilkins. You cannot go up and rip his helmet off. That's rookie league stuff. Rookie stuff. Josh Allen's been in the league long enough to know you don't do that. But regardless, they get down there. At some point, Josh Allen apparently hit his hand on someone's face mask, so his arm's hurting. And wide open to Devin Singletary on 4th and goal. Josh Allen shorts-armed it. So I'm thinking game's over. And probably everybody else is. Bills have some timeouts left, but whatever. 3 and out. Dolphins have to punt. Thomas Morstead, the butt punt. Punts it right into the butt of his blocker. Never seen that before in my life.
Amazing. And
when I say right in the butt, there's a picture. I can't remember who took it for USA Today. Perfectly. Right into the butt. Goes flying out the end zone. 21-19. So now, only need a field goal. You've gotten saved. But you have no timeouts. Bills got a big play that would have gotten Gabe Davis down to about the 33-yard line, but holding Devin Quesenberry, another guy who's having to come in on offensive line, who hasn't played a lot. And then 2nd and 20, get to Isaiah McKenzie for 12 yards, don't get out of bounds. Everybody's seen Ken Dorsey's reaction. That was my reaction. Josh Allen's reaction. It happened with the Cowboys in the playoffs. You have to have 3 seconds on the clock to spike it. And by the time everybody got set, there was 2 seconds on the clock. Could not spike it. Game over. Dolphins win. Just a lot went wrong for the Bills. They ran 90 plays. The Dolphins ran 39.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to point out as well. Like it's just it was very good timely football from the Dolphins. Like I mean, they were just right place, right time, and the Bills just had enough unfortunate miscues to be able to have 497 total yards to the Dolphins 212.
Yeah.
And run 51 more plays than they did. That's unreal when you look at this team stat.
Yeah, I mean, Tyreek Hill was kept in check, 2 catches, 33 yards, but Jalen Waddle had that 4 catches, 102, got that big play that kept the Dolphins alive. Tua, questioning about the doctor, of course, because he got hit hard, bounced his head off the turf, and they're like, oh, it's a head injury. No, it's a back injury. Again, I'm not saying that Tua, I don't know medical stuff. Maybe it was a back injury, but I really hope they didn't have Tua out there playing with concussion just to win East Division game in the 3rd week of the season. Because that's scary. I'm not saying that, Tua should have gone out and the Bills would have won if Tua wasn't in. I think the Bills did fine. It's just they were beat up. Jake Kumaro had to leave. Isaiah McKenzie was beat up. Stephon Diggs was tired. Offensive line woes, defensive backs. I mean, Taron Johnson, Jaquan Johnson and DeMar Hamlin had to do their best, and you have Kyer Elam, who's a rookie out there, having to do his best. Then Christian Brotherton gets hurt too, who's your best rookie out there. Tim Settle had to play meaningful minutes in this game. Von Miller didn't do anything. He got a pass deflection. That's about it. Boogie Basham didn't do anything in this one. They kept both of them in check. Greg Rousseau had a good game, 3 tackles, but 1.5 sacks. So you'll take that. Tremaine Edmonds had 5 tackles in this one. Matt Milano had 4 tackles. And like I said, should have had the pick 6. They had Xavier Howard, great game. He locked down Gabe Davis for the most part. Gabe Davis, 3 catches, 37 yards. Devin Singletary had a good day catching the ball though. He caught, 9 catches out of the outfield backfield for 78 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah McKenzie had a great day, 7 catches, 76 yards and a touchdown. So guys did step up when they had to. Dawson Knox got injured too. Just some toughness questions. Also just a tough break for Josh Allen, who went 42 of 63, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, was sacked 4 times, 8 carries for 47 yards. But it's surprising, Josh Allen in his last 7 one-score games is 0-7.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a play calling issue or if that's going to come into question at some point, because you got to win those games. You saw it in AFC playoffs the last 2 years against the Chiefs. And you saw it against the Titans last year. Bills win that game. Maybe they're the 1 seed. So, there's a lot of questions. And 2 years ago, that the Bills played the Titans. That wasn't a 1-score game, but Bills won that. They're the 1 seed. Possible that year too. So, there's just a lot of questions about that too. There's a lot of questions on some play calling issues, a lot of the toughness of this team. I think the Bills are still a good team. I don't think the Dolphins are as good as the Bills. The Dolphins got a lot of question marks on that defense at times. They're not using. I don't think they're using Tyreek Hill as well as they should. Now, of course, having Jalen Waddle out there helps. You don't have to fire at the hill every time, but I think the Dolphins are a good team. I think they can make the playoffs, and they could possibly win the East if they catch the Bills again, and then they knock off the Patriots and Jets. You could see this down the road in December.
Yeah, I
believe this is the week before Christmas, December 18th. They play again. They win that game up in Buffalo. They're in the driver's seat for the East at that point, unless they just fall apart between then. But yeah, I think Tua did well, did his job. Again, hopefully he's not too banged up. They got a short week to play off of, but the defensive line for the Dolphins is dangerous, as you saw that against the inexperienced Bills line. I don't know. Everybody, the Bills fans, like, oh, celebrate because you're going against the practice squad. Like, let the Dolphins celebrate. They deserve it. They won the game. They won the game, and you meet again. So That's a good win for the Dolphins. It stings for the Bills because you should have won. Should have won at least, I think, 27-20. Possibly even worse if you could power in some of those field goals. But Dolphins just did what they had to do and got the win.
Yeah. Like I said, Miami played good, timely football. Also, we're back to Josh Allen throwing the ball 63 times a game.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that. Like, I
me
mean, I'm not
neither.
doubting that he can do that. I think we all know he can. But just throwing 63 times a game and being their leading rusher with 47 yards, once again, couldn't really establish a true run game with the running backs, which has been an issue over the past couple of years, even when the Bills have been really good. But yeah, so I would just like for Josh Allen to not have to throw it that much, and
Now
but
some of these were screen passes to help the
Yeah.
offensive line out, but still, you just don't want to see that from your quarterback. So
yeah, so but good timely football from the Dolphins. But I wholeheartedly believe that December 18th when they meet again, it'll be a lot different. So who knows?
Yeah. Hopefully, some health issues will be back for the Bills at that point. So, but it's a long season, so we'll see what happens there. Quickly run through week 3 on Thursday night. The Browns beat the Steelers 29-17, scored 16 points in the second half. Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good. Nick Chubb had a good game again. So that offense is going to run through him, I think, until they get to Deshaun Watson week 11 and just try to stay afloat, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Steelers are not great. People are going to be clamoring for Trubisky to hit the road already.
Yeah.
So
already seen Kenny
not
Pickett
great.
chance plenty for those Steelers.
Yeah.
So I should see what happens there. Bears, Texans, ugly game. But then Roquan Smith got a clutch interception, and the Bears kicked the field goal to win. The Bears have completed 23 passes for 3 weeks of football.
Yikes.
And I just want you to know, Josh Allen completed 42 in one game.
Yeah.
Davis Mills completed 20 for the Texans in this game. So that Bears offense isn't good, but that defense has helped them. They're 2-1. So it's somewhat working, I guess.
This game was ugly. There's two teams that don't be fooled by the Bears 2-1 record.
No, I mean, the wins are the 49ers in the rain and the Texans. So we saw what happened. They played a good team, the Packers. So.
Right. So
Chiefs Colts, exciting game. Matt Ryan leads a drive down at the very end to knock off the Chiefs. There's that questionable 2-point conversion that was called a 2-point conversion by Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And the Colts answer back. Matt Ryan turns back the clock, and then Patrick Mahomes for his first interception of the year. And the Colts win 20-17. That's a big-time win for Indy to avoid going to 0-2-1.
Yeah, a heck of a win by the Colts, and one that I definitely didn't see coming. They did a great job on defense holding the Chiefs in check and did enough to get the job done. So sets up a big matchup this week with Tennessee coming to town. So
Vikings, Lions, you had them again. You had the Vikings beat, and then 14 points in the fourth quarter, the last second touchdown, and the Vikings win. Kirk Cousins, you don't play Kirk Cousins at 1:00 because he will make you pay. But once the sun goes down, he's awful. That's just things for the Lions because they had this game tucked away and won. Then
Kirk Cousins is a reverse vampire. You heard it here first.
Ravens and Patriots. This game had a lot more offense people expected, but Lamar Jackson, y'all gotta pay him. 5 touchdowns by himself, 1 rushing, 4 passing. He looked incredible. And then Mac Jones had 3 picks and got injured to end the game. Rough looking scene. Don't know how long he's going to be out. Yep. So that's questionable for the Patriots, and also their defense getting carved up. But still gotta say, Lamar Jackson, y'all gotta pay him for sure if you're the Ravens after this game.
Yeah, they gotta pay him because somebody's going to.
Somebody will go and give him all the money if the Ravens don't.
Yeah, and if Mac Jones is in a bad way, the Patriots are already in a bad way, but they're going to be in an even worse way. So
they got Brian Hoyer, but no.
This game was a lot closer than it should have been at times, but Lamar eventually took over.
Yeah. Bengals and Jets. Bengals roll 27-12. Joe Burrow, cool, calm, and collected. and the Bengals are able to pull away. Joe Flacco also threw the ball 52 times in this game. You don't want Josh Allen doing that. You don't want old Joe Flacco doing that either.
Yeah. 10 years out from that MVP performance, still throwing 52 times a game. It's honestly remarkable.
Yeah, for sure. It's honestly his back's held up that well, or his arm has. But yeah. Eagles Commanders. Eagles win 24-8. Eagles scored 24 points in the second quarter. The Commanders are horrible. Devontae Smith went off, 8 catches, 169 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Hurts, 22 of 35, 340 yards, 3 TDs. Yeah, Commanders, bad. They're so bad.
Yeah, Commanders are not good, and I do think the Eagles.
I mean, the Eagles are good. Yeah, the Eagles are good, but
it's been weird so far. Like, I just feel like, I mean, they beat Detroit barely. They let Detroit come back in that game.
Yeah.
They dominated against Minnesota, but I mean, asterisks because it was Kirk Cousins after dark.
Yeah.
Honestly, and like I'm not even being funny about that. Like, it's a fact that he's awful in prime time. But for what it's worth, Jalen Hurts has looked really good. He's obviously got AJ Brown, who didn't make too much noise this past week, but Devontae Smith did all the work. So I do think the Eagles are good, and they're going to benefit from a division that's not that great. But the Commanders are confirmed. Ouch.
Yeah. I just want to let you know Harrison Butker still hurt. So I was like, I'm going to pick up Joey Sly as my kicker in fantasy. He did nothing either because he didn't even get to attempt the field goal in this game. So that was fun fantasy week. Panthers knock off the Saints 22-14. This is the Panthers' first win at home in over a year. They've gone 371 days without a win at home. Laviska Shenault, who I had no clue was on the Panthers roster, caught the game-winning touchdown pass. That boy's been just floating around since leaving Colorado. Should there be concerned about the Saints? Because they have not looked great at times this year, and they lost a bad Panthers team.
I think that whole division's just not living up. I mean, I didn't expect much out of the Panthers or the Falcons.
Saints and the Bucks have
the Saints, based on what we saw last year with Jameis Winston when he was healthy, I thought it would be better, but it doesn't look great. And then the Bucks have been very underwhelming as well. So, I don't know if it's like full press the panic button for the Saints, but that's not a good loss. I mean, no loss is good, but that one's really bad.
Yeah. This, speaking of bad losses, Jaguars beat the Chargers 38-10. Did not expect the Jags to go out and do this.
Yeah, me either.
To anybody.
What kind of fresh hell am I living in where the Jaguars beat the Chargers by 28
on the road? So, Justin Herbert did play in this game. Did not play well. 297 yards, touchdown pick. James Robinson looks good. So Trevor Lawrence looking like Trevor Lawrence of old. Doug Peterson has tied Urban Meyer for the 5th most wins in franchise history in week 3.
That was a fantastic tweet. I saw that. That was great. Props to Jacksonville. They played a heck of a game. It looks like it's a wonder what Trevor Lawrence can do with an actual head coach. The freaking Jaguars, man, it could have been anybody else. It could have been anybody else. Do not tell me the Jaguars are going to be freaking competitive this year. Like, that's the last thing I want. But props to them. I'm not going to put an asterisk next to it because the Jaguars thoroughly beat the mess out of them. Obviously, Justin Herbert's not 100%. We know that, but I think the Chargers will end up being okay once he gets healthy. Because that division, albeit beat up after this Sunday by the AFC South, how about that? But that division is still it's still good. Got a lot of talent in it, but I think the Chargers will be fine.
Yeah. Chargers did lose one of their top offensive linemen though for the season, so that's going to be interesting to see going forward. Especially when you got banged up Justin Herbert back there. Rams and Cardinals. Rams roll 20-12. This game was really never in doubt for the Rams. I feel like Matthew Stafford did his job. Rams defense, bend don't break. Murray had 314 yards passing. Hollywood Brown, 14 catches, 140 yards, but couldn't find the back of the end zone. So, good job of the Rams defense step up when they needed to. Cam Akers finally got going. 12 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. So, maybe we're starting to see the Rams turn around a bit after a horrible week one. So,
maybe so. This game was just underwhelming. I mean, I feel like all the late window games were just really, really just kind of underwhelming.
They were just after 1 o'clock, everything just went downhill for the NFL. Falcons, Seahawks. Falcons win 27-23 on the road. Get a late pick of Geno Smith to win it. Again, Falcons the only team that knows how to use Cordero Patterson. He has 17 carries, 141 yards, and a touchdown. Geno wasn't horrible. Again, he threw that pick at the very end that cost him the game, but Geno's not a horrible quarterback, but I don't think he's not your guy. I don't think.
No, for sure. And neither is Mariota for Atlanta. No. I think we all know that. But this was just a battle of two has-beens, and it ended up being a pretty good game.
Yeah, solid game, but just
good
one
for the Falcons getting a win.
Yeah. Packers and Bucks. This game, hyped up all week. It's Rodgers and Brady, possibly the last time. And neither of them did really anything of this. Rodgers did throw 2 touchdown passes. Brady threw 1, but nobody looked good. Bucks missed Mike Evans for sure. With his suspension, he is back this week, though. Russell Gage had a pretty good game. Aaron Jones sucked. 12 carries, 36 yards, and a fumble. This is a bad game. It did not live up to any of the hype at all.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Sunday night football.
Oh my God.
Broncos win it 11-10. 11-10.
At the end of the third quarter, it was 7-5.
Spencer Petras, baby. That's Spencer Petras playing on Sundays was what Jimmy G looked like, and Russell Wilson.
Awful.
This game,
awful.
Literally in the second quarter, I looked up and said, I have no interest in this, and turned it to House of the Dragon. Because normally I watch the first half, watch House of the Dragon come back. Nah, I was like 13 minutes, second quarter, I do not care about this at all.
This was a new level of just being unwatchable. It was so bad.
Yeah. I don't know. Jimmy G pulls a Dan Orlovsky. Orlovsky has been redeemed finally after all these years. Orlovsky's still worse. Yeah. Jimmy G saved himself by running it back at the end zone, because if he wouldn't have, he would have thrown a pick 6 too on that play. So
yeah, that's true.
It's a good thing he did run out the back. This game was horrible, and just burn it forever, never show it again. Also, Russell Wilson at the end of the game said, "Oh yeah, this is a great game for all these people." You lied to millions of people on national TV, Russell. No. And then Monday Night Football, this game stunk until the fourth quarter. Everybody started coming alive. Cowboys knocked off the Giants on the road, 23-16. Cooper Rush, 21-31, 215 yards, a touchdown. Tony Pollard, 13 carries, 105 yards. CeeDee Lamb, after dropping an easy touchdown in the first half, makes an incredible catch for a touchdown. 23-16. Cooper Rush is 3-0 as a starter for the Cowboys, 2-0 this season. Dak,
call me crazy. The Cowboys are better with Cooper Rush.
Yeah, and with Tony Pollard. So if you're Dak and Zeke, you probably might be sweating a little bit, because
maybe so.
They've looked a lot better with them. Also, got to mention who had that George Pickens had that crazy catch for the Steelers on Thursday night. I want to mention that too.
Oh yeah, oh my God, that is a top 5 catch of all time. Yeah, it's unbelievable how difficult that is.
Instantly got comparisons to the OBJ catch against the Cowboys, and it's up there for sure.
It's dang near better. It's unreal.
Yeah.
That's how good of a catch it was. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I had some crazy catches from Pickens and Lamb this past weekend in those games. So now let's go through the NFL schedule. Let's start off on Thursday. Dolphins and Bengals in Cincinnati. Cincinnati a 4-point favorite. This should be a fun one for sure with Burrow and Tua. Got to see what the Dolphins can do. Can they stay undefeated? Can the Bengals get back on track? Should be a very good ball game on Thursday night.
Yeah, should be a good one. I hope we'll see what Tua's got, how close to 100% he's going to be. And this is a big game if you're a Bengals fan. They got back on track a little bit, beating the Jets. But if they knock off the Dolphins, I mean, you can start talking about them being pretty serious again, because I feel like the Dolphins are a really good team. But
yeah, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. It's 9:30 Eastern Time. Vikings and Saints in London versus a couple of London games. These poor people get to see Kirk Cousins and Jameis Winston play each other. Congratulations, London, for that.
what is the time difference? Is it
That's what I'm wondering.
time?
Is this
Is it
prime time in
London?
London? It's
Hold
about
on.
6 hours, I think.
That's what I figured. Yeah, it's
Late afternoon. So
it's 5 hours. So it really starts at 2:30. So you know what? They might be in for a show.
yeah, for Kirk Cousins, we'll be fine. At least let's see what Jameis does.
Better pray for the Saints, because my boy Kirk's playing in the sun.
For sure. We'll keep rolling on to the 1 o'clock games first. Waffle, let's talk. Big division matchup: Titans and Colts in Lucas Oil Stadium. Colts are currently a 3-point favorite in this one. Titans coming off both teams coming off their first wins of the season, over AFC West teams. What did Titans need to do to knock off the Colts on the road and get a leg up in the division?
Oh man, it's the same as always. I mean, the first half. I mean, we got to continue the streak. We can't break the streak this week of scoring on our first drive. We got to score. We got to do that. We just need to play. Ryan Tannehill needs to keep being efficient and play mistake-free football, and we need to get Derrick Henry going. And on the defensive side, we need to stop Jonathan Taylor. Titans' run defense has not been good this year, so that is concerning when you've got one of the best running backs coming, or when you're playing one of the best running backs here coming up. This is always a tough game, and it's still kind of desperation time for both teams. So we'll see. I don't know. It's in Indy, so I mean, I give the advantage to the Colts, but we'll see if Tennessee can just put two halves together.
Yeah,
it might be a fun day, but who knows?
Yeah, for sure. This will be a good one. Should be a great crowd up in Indy, and of course, these two rivals meet. That's been for the division the past couple of years, so this is going to be a good matchup for sure in this one. Bills and Ravens at 1 o'clock. Another big time AFC contest. Bills, again, defense beaten up, and you're going against Lamar Jackson, who has looked phenomenal for the first 3 weeks. Really concerned about that secondary against him because he doesn't have as much weapons as the Dolphins. I don't think Duvernay is as good as Waddle or Hill, but you have Mark Andrews, you have some other tight ends. And Lamar Jackson by himself can just make plays happen, do something crazy, and do something to get wins. And so this is going to be a tough test for this defense. So again, toughness being questioned. You're getting questioned a lot, and then your offense has to go out. Ravens still have a pretty good defense. They stood up against the Pats, got 3 interceptions. I think the Bills' offense, of course, has more weapons than the Patriots' offense, but you got to go in, and you may have to play score for score with Lamar. But if your defense can get one good stop, possibly one good turnover, that should be the difference. You also have to do this on the road in Baltimore again, another road game. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Bills handle this.
Yeah, it should be a very good game. I think you got to obviously keep Lamar Jackson in check, which is a tough job for anybody. And I think if you're the Bills, you need to have a balanced attack on offense between Josh and your running back. So we'll see. Two tough games at Miami, at Baltimore. So that's if they come out of this 3-1, I think that's a definite win. So
yeah, if you can go on the road, you pick the win by 3. Over under is 52, so they're expecting a lot of offense in this one, and it could be a high scoring game between these two if the Bills secondary continues to struggle as they have and can't get pressure on the quarterback. Rolling wrong, your 1 o'clock games: Browns at the Falcons. Ew. I have no desire to watch this game.
Yeah, Brissett versus Mariota, and it's not 2017.
Yeah, no desire at all.
As if that was any better, but
yeah, for sure. Continuing at 1 o'clock, Commanders and Cowboys. I don't have much desire to watch this one either.
I don't know, bro. Pray for the Commanders, bro. Cooper Rush coming for him, bro.
Yeah, Cooper Rush.
I'm all aboard the Cooper Rush train. I still hate the Cowboys, but hey,
I really am too. Like if he goes out and wins this one, I think you have a serious talk about Cooper Rush being your starter for the rest of the year. Honestly,
Anything for my Chippewas.
Yes, sir. With the greatest comeback in history in the Bahamas Bowl, and then did not make a 2-point conversion. Disappointing.
Yes, very sad. But
Seahawks and Lions. Lions favored by 4.5.
Please, Detroit, please.
You gotta win this one, Detroit, please.
Please. Dan Campbell, I like you a lot, but bro, you gotta stop finding ways to lose games.
I know. Like, God, just please finish one off. Bears and Giants. Ew.
These games suck.
Daniel Jones and Justin Fields going at it. Let's go.
God, these games are awful.
This 1 o'clock window, other than Titans, Colts, and Bills Ravens, is just horrible.
Oh man.
This one, I don't know. After the first few weeks, might be good. Jags and Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. This one might be interesting. I really feel like we're gonna get an accurate description of both teams here because I still have questions with both. Obviously, Jacksonville, see how competitive they are, see if their defense can keep Jalen Hurts and Brown and Devontae Smith in check, and then also see if the Eagles can, continue to build and be 4-0 after this, which is crazy.
Yeah, interesting to see. A little rematch from Jalen Hurts and Trevor Lawrence too. So interesting to see what happens in that one from their college meeting. Jets and the Steelers. Oh my God, don't care. Joe Flacco and Mitch Trubisky going at it.
Stop.
Please put Kenny Pickett in for the love of
make it stop.
These 1 o'clock games are all horrible. And then the 1 o'clock hour ends with the Chargers and Texans.
Oh, please, Chargers. Come on.
Chargers, you have the last year against Texans laid a big old fat goose egg against Houston. Do not do this year. I don't care how beat up Justin Herbert is. You should beat this team. And you should handle them very well. Despite Brandon Cooks being the leading receiver in this ball game, that's wild to me with the weapons the Chargers have. So, 4 o'clock. Oh, it gets better. Cardinals and Panthers.
Man,
this week might go down as one of the worst weeks in football.
These are just not, and I feel like it's just because, after last week watching the Bills lose, and watching the Chiefs go down. Now it feels like nobody's really separating themselves as like the clear cut, like, oh, they look great.
Yeah.
But and obviously Bill's game was tough. I still think the Bills are probably the best team in the NFL right now, but God bless it. Oh, I don't know, man. These are all kind of tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of these that are like, I don't know if I'm gonna watch this. Cardinals, Panthers. Panthers are actually picked to win this game, which is surprising.
Wild. That's crazy.
Yeah, must be double XP weekend.
I was about to say the same thing. God bless. I was about to say he just got the new COD beta, so it's over.
There you go.
He's not even traveling with the team.
Oh, and so interesting game there. 4:25, Patriots and Packers. Brian Hoyer gonna have to step up.
This just sounds bad too.
This is going to be so bad.
Because it's still Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time to do it. But who's he throwing to?
Exactly. And then you got Brian Hoyer out there with Nelson Aguilar. Yeah.
Woo.
Feel the excitement on CBS.
Yeah.
And then Broncos and Raiders. This one actually might be a good game because
it could be.
Interesting to see. You got a desperate Raiders team. You got Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett trying on offense, I guess. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't even think they're trying.
Yeah, they're just out there doing.
Please, Vegas. Please. I'm begging you to win this game.
What the Broncos go like 13-4 with just the worst offense known to God. Because it could happen.
Is that not what happened?
That's what they did when they won the Super Bowl. Yeah, that is.
Obviously, I don't think the offense was this bad,
no.
Nor was the defense that good.
But,
yeah, I know. God bless.
Yeah, that year Peyton won the Super Bowl, that was pretty close to that. Yeah. Chiefs and Bucks. That's the Sunday night game. Should be a lot better than last week. So you have Brady and Mahomes Super Bowl rematch. A couple years ago.
I need Tom Brady to freaking wow me because I have no doubt in my mind he's the greatest to ever do it, and he has played elite football all the way up to when he was 44. But now that he's 45, things just have not looked great.
Yeah.
Like I really think he hit that wall, and I just need him to come out and just like dice up Kansas City for me to be like, oh, freaking the Bucs, Tom Brady, wow. It's lost its luster.
Yeah, he does. I mean, does not look like the same quarterback from last year. Again, rumors going around about his marriage and off-season stuff and going on about that, but still, just does not look great this time. Brady does have Mike Evans back, so see if that helps him out a little bit. Then Monday Night Football, the Rams and the Niners. Usually a good game between these two.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's better than the last time we saw Niners in primetime football this past week.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. I mean, if this game could be anything like the playoff game last year, then
oh yeah,
or
even the Week 17 game between them.
Yeah,
that game was exciting. So
yep.
Hopefully you'll have one of those instead of just somebody laying a foul one in this one. So
right.
So I'll conclude NFL talk. Looks like a garbage week in the NFL. But
could be the best week though.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
You never know. Those weeks happen.
Yep.
Right. Moving over to college football, week 4. Waffle, I'll let you go first because probably don't have a whole lot to say about this one. A good win for South Carolina, pulling away in the second half, big third quarter, and then closing out against Charlotte to win 56-20. Marshawn Lloyd looked very, very good in this game, and the South Carolina offense came to life late. Defense shut down the good quarterback and Chris Reynolds, and win over Charlotte 56-20. So off just reactions from really probably the best game South Carolina's played so far this season.
Yeah, I'm still not a complete wire to wire game because the first half was very shaky, but Carolina came out and drove it all the way down the field, had to settle for a field goal, and then we let Charlotte go 13 plays, 90 yards in 7 minutes. To score, and then we traded Carolina touchdown, Charlotte touchdown, Carolina touchdown. So it was a freaking dogfight for a minute, and then we ended the half with a field goal to go up 20-14, and then the third quarter was very kind to us. So we scored 3 touchdowns to there, and they didn't score anything. Capitalized on some miscues. We ran a punt back in the fourth for a touchdown. Through Luke Doty came in at the end and threw a very dumb interception, typical Carolina game. And anyway, so I mean, Carolina looked good. Marshawn Lloyd, 15 carries, 169 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he hurdled the absolute mess out of some poor kid. Showing off his freakability. Didn't see a whole lot from Spencer Rattler. Didn't have to. Rattler was 17-23 for 187, no touchdowns, no picks. So I mean, it is what it is. We established a run game. We ran for 295 yards as a team, so I'm never going to be upset about that. So you know what? I saw enough out of South Carolina to feel more confident in the run game. Just need some better passing stats. But yeah, I saw it's a solid day from Carolina minus that first half, but they figured it out. So I'm cool.
Yeah. I mean, offensive drive report was field goal, touchdown, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, 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 then the pick, fumble, touchdown. By the time you fit for the pick and the fumble, you're up 49-14. So
right, and we Kai Kroger didn't even touch the field, which is I'm never going to complain about that.
Yeah, so that's what you want from your offense, especially against a team like Charlotte, who again, and they have a good offense. I think they dropped 42 on Georgia State the week before. Chris Reynolds is a solid quarterback, and you held him in check after the first half. Yeah, you'll just take that win every single night for sure.
Yeah.
Now we get to talk about probably the most exciting game of the day. Clemson and Wake Forest go to double OT. This game was hyped up all week as probably the game of the year so far in the ACC, and boy, it was exciting. High scoring was expected. And it was sold out crowd in Wake Forest. A lot of Clemson fans traveled up there too, as they always do. First of all, gotta say this: ESPN, we do not care that much about Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Like, I mean, it's gonna be a very cool moment when he does it, but I mean, it's just don't do that. Like that sucks. And you get taken away from the game and you miss the commentary. It's just not great.
Yeah. The worst one, I had to rewatch the Clemson game because I was working. Worst one was on the 2-point conversion by Clemson later in the game where DJ makes an incredible play. I didn't even get to see it live because they talk about Aaron Judge. I saw Clemson's video of it that they put up after the game. So I didn't even know he made one of the greatest plays I've ever seen out there. And then the worst one came later on Texas Tech and Texas. Texas Tech's first drive of the game, first play of the game. Texas Tech is about to snap it. Oh, let's go. Oh, we got an update. Aaron Judge is at the bat, and you missed the first play.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand it's a big deal. We may never see this again. We don't care that much, honestly.
No,
if
you
studio
care
updates.
Enough, if you care enough, there's so many streaming options. Like you can freaking watch it. You can find it. Yeah, like
I don't know. Like
we're past the point of needing live look-ins like that.
Yeah, like
especially when you cross in sports. So
literally for the kick six, they didn't do that. Back for Alabama Auburn, they did a studio update after commercial break. That will be fine. People have phones. Like, that's just my major gripe against that. Of course, Clemson happened to be playing when Aaron Judge was playing at the same time, and everybody got to watch him either get walked or he'll pop fly to right field. So but anyway, going through this game, wild game. Clemson, Wake Forest. Clemson has dominated this series since Wake Forest got Tommy Bowden fired, beating them 14 years ago. Since then, Clemson has won 14 in a row against Wake. They haven't been close. Even last year's game with how bad Clemson was, they pulled away for a 14-point victory over Wake Forest in Death Valley. And I think it was like 24 points to a fourth quarter rally by Wake Forest. Made it a little bit interesting. But Clemson goes out, takes a 7-0 lead, and then they force a 3-and-out. And they get another touchdown drive, 14-0. Brandon Spector, 41-yard touchdown. The guy does not have blistering speed at all. He's your slot receiver, but he looked really good in this game. And you're up 14-0, and I'm thinking, man, and Wake Forest fans are probably thinking, oh, this is what we've seen for the past 14 years. Clemson just comes out and just dominates us, and it just happens. But then Sam Hartman realized Clemson's playing 2 freshman DBs. So Wake Forest gets down there and a 36-yard pass to Jamal Banks later, 14-7. Teams trade punts for a while, then a field goal by BT Potter, 17-7. Then Sam Hartman, another drive, Jamal Banks, wide open, touchdown pass. Again, there are also so many defensive pass interference plays by Clemson because they had to. Because they were struggling in this one. 20-14 at the break after BT Potter makes a field goal. Wake Forest just runs the clock out. Clemson comes out, 3-and-out, has to punt it. Wake Forest immediately answers. Touchdown pass for Sam Hartman again to Donovan Green, 28 yards. Wake takes the lead. Clemson goes 3-and-out again, and then Wake, another touchdown pass drive. This time Blake Whiteheart catches a touchdown on 3rd and 5. This is when I thought Wake Forest is going to take over. It's 28-20. The Clemson DBs are just gassed. They are trying to keep up with arguably one of the best offenses in the country, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. They're trying to keep up. But then I'll give it to Clemson. They never backed out of it. They go in 28-20, 9 plays, 75-yard drive, which includes a 28-yard pass on 3rd and 10 to Bo Collins from DJ Uyunglele. Including DJ also ran for 23 yards on 3rd and 2 to keep the drive alive. And then Davis Allen comes up big, makes a catch, and then have to go for 2. You're down by 2. DJ Uyunglele is getting picked up. His leg is in the air. Somehow throws the ball into Bo Collins' hands. It's good. 28. That's when I thought Clemson's back in this. And then touchdown Wake Forest. Sam Hartman, another touchdown pass. I sound like a broken record, but Sam Hartman had an incredible game. He left it all out there. He has nothing to be ashamed of. Clemson, 10-play, 75-yard drive. Will Shipley almost goes down at the 5-yard line, somehow breaks about 3 tackles, gets in. Big-time play for him to get in the end zone. Then Clemson holds Wake to a field goal. And all I can think is this is when you got to take your moment. You've held them to a field goal. You're down by 3. Fortunately, Clemson can't get anywhere near. BT Potter, clutch 52-yard field goal. But then Wake has a chance to get it. Defense, Tyler Davis, Miles Murphy get a sack after getting a tackle for loss. And then Clemson holds Blake Whitehart to a 12-yard gain on 3rd and 17. Wake Forest gets a good punt, so Clemson opts to go to OT. First drive, A.T. Perry, the best receiver for Wake Forest, is wide open in the end zone. Nate Wiggins gets burnt. Touchdown. Wake Forest goes up 42-35. Or assuming he goes up 45-38. But Clemson, DJ Ungale, throws at the Bo Collins. Touchdown. Tie at 45. Go to OT number 2. Again, Davis Allen using that big body. I think Spencer Hall described it as the only time he's ever seen a tight end box somebody out with his butt. He does that perfectly, gets the catch. 2-point conversion failed, though. Because remember, you got to go for 2 now in double OT. 51-45. Wake Forest gets the ball. Justice Ellison gets stopped. Hartman tries to find Whitehart. Incomplete. 3rd down, Sam Hartman's got to run it out. 4 yards, 21-yard line. 4th down. Wake is going to go back to A.T. Perry. You know he's going to A.T. Perry. That's the best receiver on the Wake Forest team. He just burned Nate Wiggins for a touchdown the first OT. Try basically the same play again. Nate Wiggins is in the perfect spot this time. Knocks it down. Brissy knocks it down. Pandemonium. Clemson wins it. Just game lived up to the hype. Insane game between 2 really good offenses. Or so far have looked like really good offenses this year. Sam Hartman. This kid is your quarterback of the year. Not just the ACC, but everywhere. 20 of 29, 337 yards, and 6 touchdowns. That is insane. I don't care if Clemson had 2 freshman DBs out there. To do that against anybody is insanity. Jamal Banks, 6 catches, under 41 yards, 2 touchdowns. Donovan Green, 2 catches, 53 yards, 2 touchdowns. A.T. Perry, 4 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. Justice Ellison also had 21 carries for 73 yards in this game. Wake Forest, that offense still is really, really good with Sam Hartman. But that defense has just been a liability for them past few years. And Clemson took advantage of it. DJ Uyunglele. I know at the beginning of the year, everybody was like, I don't know if he's the guy. He's the guy. You got to say he's the guy now because he willed that team back. 26 of 41, 371 yards, 5 touchdowns, ran for 52 yards. Will Shipley had 20 carries for 104 yards and a touchdown. Joseph Ngata finally got going, 4 catches, 84 yards. Jake Brenningstool, 6 catches, 72 yards and a touchdown. Davis Allen, 4 catches, 36 yards, 2 touchdowns. The tight ends finally got utilized in his offense. That's what they said. That's what Brandon Streeter had said all offseason. I want to use the tight ends. And they finally used them, and it worked. Brandon Spector, like I said, only had 1 catch, was a 41-yard touchdown. Antonio Williams, the freshman, 3 catches, 51 yards. Bo Collins, 4 catches, 60 yards. E.J. Williams didn't have a whole lot. Only got 1 pass catch for 12 yards. Listen, it was not perfect again by DJ. He had another fumble. Didn't lose it. He had another fumble. He missed some passes. He did his job. When he had to answer, because if you let Wake get up by 15 on you, you're done. He came through, led drives, made the plays. Without that, I don't know if K. Klubnik does that. In that environment, packed out house at Wake Forest, biggest game in the history of Wake Forest football at this point. I don't know if K. Klubnik does that. I don't know if somebody else does that. DJ Ungale, cool, calm, and collected, goes in there, rabid environment, gets the win. Wild game. I know everybody's angry at the freshman corners, but you got to get baptized by fire sometimes. And unfortunately, you went up against one of the best quarterbacks in the country and 2 of the best receivers in the conference. And, again, hats off to Wake Forest. Hats off to what David Clawson's been able to do there. Like I said, Wake made the ACC championship game last year. We're close to winning it. It was just a great performance by Kenny Pickett. Man, it's just wild. And Clemson finds a way to get it done. insane game. Probably the game of the year so far for me, and just the performance of the year for DJ Uyunglele.
Yeah, for sure. The quarterback play in this game was elite by both teams. Sam Hartman, can't say enough about him. I mean, he did everything he could to win this game. 20 and 29, 337, 6 touchdowns, like you said. So, excuse me. The final play, I don't love. I mean, you're throwing it up to your best guy, but it seemed like it was just
we got to do something here.
Screw it. It's worked all game. Let's just go back to our bread and butter. And Clemson had two guys over there.
Yeah, they had Brissy and Wiggins over there.
Yeah,
so.
It wasn't really it didn't look great. And I mean, you didn't have to go for it all. It was 4th and 4, 4th and 3,
it was
5,
about 4th and 5. You could have gotten the first down. So
I don't love that decision, but I mean the quarterback play by both were great. Hartman was great. DJ was awesome. Definitely silencing some more of his critics. So I mean if Clemson can keep putting together offensive performances like that, like they're going to be okay once that defense gets healthy for sure. But as you said, Wake Forest defense is a liability. It's definitely not what their offense is, and I think we all know that. But it was a big win for Clemson to come out of Winston-Salem with a dub. So, albeit a crazy game, and that makes this week's matchup even more better. So,
yeah, for sure. That makes this one coming up big. Again, another Atlantic Division opponent, NC State. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, you get a leg up. I mean, you won 2 conference games now because you played Georgia Tech earlier in the year. And now, of course, you've got a leg up now on Wake Forest. So that's the first conference loss for them and another conference win. So, yeah, great game. I mean, stressful for sure watching it from the press box at LCU. Also, the Wi-Fi wasn't working, so I had to watch the game cast on my phone. So I was like, literally the last play of the game was like, oh, it's working. I was like, why does it say 1st and 10 Clemson? Does that mean they won? Then I got the update. Final score was like, yes, thank God. Shout out to YouTube TV for letting me rewatch it, though, recording that. So, very stressful game. Going to continue this week probably for sure, but hey, that's what you got to do sometimes in the ACC Atlantic. Is the craziest division in football probably this year. But moving on to this week in college football, Thursday night, West Virginia rolls over Virginia Tech 33-10. Virginia Tech, not looking great again. Not looking great again. And they were in this game to the 4th, 17 points to 4th quarter for West Virginia. And West Virginia Science in that crowd. Good to see them get some wins back after starting off 0-2. So,
yeah, Virginia Tech sucks.
Yeah. Syracuse and Virginia. Syracuse tried everything in their power to lose this game.
They did.
And finally, Syracuse gets a field goal, then gets a stop on 4th down. So Syracuse is 4-0, 2-0 in the ACC, but very shaky at times.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if Sean Tucker doesn't get going. He's been held in check the last 2 weeks, and they've had to have to hold on for some wins. UTEP beats Boise 27-10. Boise is not good.
No, they're not.
And Hank Bachmeier just announced he's transferring, so that's a dagger for Boise State. UTEP, I think, is a better team than in the past, but Boise does not lose those games to UTEP, so that's a rough one for sure. Kansas and Duke, game of the day.
Battle of the unbeatens, baby.
Absolutely, and Kansas, with the world watching, wins this one 35-27. Jalen Daniels, 4 Heisman. 19 of 23, 324 yards, 4 touchdowns, 11 rushes for 83 yards and a touchdown. Kansas wins it. 4-0 Kansas. Why aren't they ranked? They should be ranked. This team is incredible. The college football world now revolves around Kansas, as we get to later. But Kansas football, 4 wins for the first time since 2009. It's a beautiful thing.
Can't even be mad, as big a Duke fan as I am. I'm happy to see Kansas get to 4-0. But, I mean, this was probably Duke's toughest test, and, of the Mike Elko era so far. And, it was back and forth.
Yeah.
Now, do I honestly think both teams are, very good? No, not really, but
they're competent.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
they're,
that's
they're,
all you
they're
can
a
ask
lot
for.
they're a lot more competent than they have been in the past decade. So,
Yeah.
with the exception of Duke for 1 or 2 years, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Listen,
a heck of a game.
Kansas is 2 wins away from a bowl game,
Yeah,
and Duke's 3 wins away from a bowl game. Like,
yeah,
and there's plenty of time to get it. It's not like you have to win out the rest of the year to get that. Like,
right.
they can both be bowl eligible pretty soon. So,
Kansas has eight attempts at 2 wins.
yep, there you go. Georgia beats Kent State 39-22. This game was close for a while.
So you're telling me that South Carolina is better than Oregon and BYU, but worse than Kent State?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that.
Kent State and Alabama are only 2 teams to score 20 points on Georgia the past 2 seasons. I think we know they're on an equal level for sure.
Yes.
For sure. Bama beats Vandy 55-3. That's
yikes.
Yeah. Ohio State beats Wisconsin 52-21. I turned this game on. It was 21-0. I was like, well, Ohio State's good.
Yeah, yikes, Wisconsin.
Yeah, that not good look at all. Michigan beats Maryland 34-27. September Maryland, gotta watch out for them.
Terps question mark, possibly good.
Yeah, look competent. So again, they're only 3 wins away from a bowl game too. So hey, Blake Corum 30 carries, 243 yards and 2 touchdowns. Michigan just ran them to death and ended up pulling away for the win. So yeah, I don't know how good Michigan actually is. I think JJ McCarthy's a better quarterback for them, but interesting to see what happens when they play Ohio State later in the year for sure.
Right.
Kansas State and Oklahoma. All Adrian Martinez had to do to be good was leave Nebraska. And boy, he ran all over Oklahoma. 21 carries, 148 yards, 4 touchdowns. Dylan Gabriel did his best, 26-39, 330 yards, 4 touchdowns, but Kansas State has beaten Oklahoma 3 of the last 4 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I still don't know if Kansas State's good because they still lost to Tulane.
I'm not gonna flip script and sit here and tell you they're good. I gotta see how they respond.
Yeah, for sure. But right now the college football world revolves around the state of Kansas, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Yes.
USC beats Oregon State 17-14. USC forced a ton of turnovers in this game. They didn't look great, but their defense did. And they get a win over a pretty good Oregon State team. Again, nobody saw this game because it was on the Pac-12 network.
Pac-12 network. The one guy that watched it had a great time, though.
Yep, for sure. Kentucky beats Northern Illinois 31-23. This is a Northern Illinois team that did not have Rocky Lombardi. He was hurt. So I don't know if Kentucky's good. They're 4-0, and they have struggled a lot this year.
Yeah, I don't know. And they're up to number 7 in the country, too. So
yeah. Will Levis, 18-26, 303 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he did fine, but yeah, there's some questions there. Texas A&M beats Arkansas 23-21. Arkansas had the chance to go up 21-7 in this game. KJ Jefferson tries to dive in from about 3 yards out, fumbles the ball. A&M picks it up and then laterals it back and returns it all the way for a touchdown. Joe Tessitore with the call of his life on that play.
It was beautiful.
He ascended. And then Arkansas and Texas. So toward the end, it's a 2-point game. Arkansas looking to kick the game-winning field goal. It hit the top of the post. That's the second time this year this has happened. Wyoming and Tulsa had it happen earlier in the year. Somebody said it was the worst time ever to try a dude perfect impression on the field. It was right now Arkansas. That's a tough one for Arkansas. That stinks. I feel like every time they play A&M and Jerry World, it just ends in heartbreak in some stupid way.
Yes, for sure.
So A&M gets that win back. Tennessee beats Florida 38-33. Tennessee was rolling this one, and then Tennessee's defense decided to spot Florida some points, give them a chance late, but Tennessee gets the pick. I think Tennessee's a very good team. They can't let other teams hang around with them, though, because if you do that against Georgia, Kentucky, Alabama, it's not going to end well. But got the win. Anthony Richardson tried his best, 24-44, 453 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Hendon Hooker looked very good. This was a very fun game.
Yeah, it was. Props to Tennessee for getting the job done. But, yeah, it really wasn't as close as they made it look.
NC State beats UConn 41-10. Just saying that because it's the first time NC State offense has looked good this year, honestly.
Yeah.
But it was against UConn, who is UConn. For Oregon beats Washington State 44-41. Oregon dropped 29 points in the fourth quarter to win this game.
Poor Washington State blew it, man.
Yep, and Bo Nix decided this is the week he's going to be good in the second half. After throwing a pick six in the first half, he comes out and plays mistake. Weirdest quarterback ever.
Yeah, so technically, I mean, Bo Nix has put 2 good games back to back. Is this a turning point? Is he going to be?
I don't know because he did this at
the
Auburn.
Heisman now. So
I have no clue because he's the weirdest quarterback ever, and he would do this at Auburn too. So we're just gonna have to keep watching him every single week to see what happens. Ole Miss beats Tulsa 35-27. Ole Miss. This is the second time this year they have gone up pretty big in the first half and just put it in park.
Yeah.
They did this against Troy in week 1. So Ole Miss got some question marks too, but you still get a win, but that's a weird one.
Right.
Baylor beats Iowa State 31-24. This game was a lot worse until the fourth quarter when Iowa State finally started making a comeback. This was Iowa State's chance to go to 4-0, kind of prove they were still top of the Big 12, and they just blew it.
Yeah, they did. Iowa State was favored in this game, and that's the easiest decision I've ever made in my life by picking Baylor +3.
Yeah.
I'd have bet my house on that.
Yeah. Plus, Baylor coming off a loss to BYU.
Yeah.
I know they're going to be ready for that one. For Texas Tech beats Texas in overtime, 37-34.
What a game.
Insane game, back and forth they went. Donovan Smith, 38-56, 331 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bajan Robinson had a good game, 16 carries, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Texas is not back, horns down. For life, baby. Been seeing that all over in Lubbock, which has been fantastic. If you haven't seen the video, the guy storming the field doing the horns down to hook 'em, the mascot for Texas. Amazing video.
The balls on that guy.
Amazing. Texas Tech, that's big. They've beaten Houston. They've beaten Texas. Now they get Kansas State this week, another top 25 team. So, Also, Joe McGuire cut the greatest wrestling promo of all time in his post-game locker room speech. Very exciting times in Lubbock for Texas Tech. Middle Tennessee beats Miami 45-31.
Yep. You know who else is not back? And I tried to tell you, Miami not back 100%.
Yep.
Trash.
Their quarterback, Cade Cunningham, completed 16 passes, had 408 yards and 3 touchdowns. They had a 98-yard touchdown in the third quarter to pull away and ice this one. Middle Tennessee's offense was rolling. They were up 24-3. Tyler Van Dyke, everybody hyped him up. He's not it, I don't think, because he did not look good. He got pulled in the third quarter. Garcia comes in, their backup. He didn't do a whole lot because by then it was over. Middle Tennessee, by the way, after they lost 44-7 to James Madison in JMU's first ever game as an FBS team. Have won 3 in a row, including 1 on the road at Miami. So props to MTSU. MTSU is now also undefeated all time against Miami. They beat them in the 30s twice and hadn't played them since. So the Blue Raiders. It was funny. I saw a meme. It was the handshake meme, and it said Blue Raiders, Red Raiders, making sure teams aren't back.
Thanks.
We love to see it. Auburn beats Missouri in overtime, 17-14. This is the dumbest game of all time. This was so stupid. I think at one point someone said that RG3 was color commentary. He basically said, "What are we doing?" at one point in this game. That's how bad it was. They were openly saying this is the dumbest game ever.
As a species, we are all worse off for having had witnessed this game.
This was going on at the same time as Clemson Wake Forest, and Aaron Judge probably drove some people over to watch this game instead because they're tired of the cutaways. But if you watch this instead of Clemson Wake Forest, you got problems, man. You do not have to
serious problems. And not to mention, Missouri absolutely blew it twice.
Yes. Chance to win it with a 20-yard field goal at the end. Missed the chip shot as time expired. Go to OT. wide open touchdown. I don't know why Nathan Pete's trying to dive for the end zone, and he just drops the ball, rolls out the end zone, touchback. Auburn wins.
Yeah.
Such a stupid. Auburn is 3-1 and 1-0 in the SEC. They are going to somehow have like an 8-4 record at the end of the year in the dumbest way possible, and beat Alabama.
Yeah.
And Brian Harsin will get fired no matter what. TCU beats SMU 42-34. Mentioned this because SMU had a chance to go and tie this game with 40 seconds left. There was a punt by TCU, and SMU got called for a penalty. TCU gets 5 yards, first down. TCU wins. Heartbreaking for SMU. 2 back-to-back heartbreaking losses to Maryland TCU for the Mustangs. So see if SMU can rebound in conference play. UCLA beats Colorado 45-17. Colorado finally scored more than 13 points in the game. Too bad they only scored 17.
They are horrible.
Yeah, this might be the worst Power 5 team in America.
Yeah.
Ohio and Fordham played a banger.
Yeah, absolute barn burner.
59-52. I think Fordham, all of their games have been high scoring. List the stats. Tim DeMorat, the quarterback for Fordham, went 27-35, 503 yards, 6 touchdowns, no picks. His leading receiver, I'm going to butcher this name, Fotis Kokosiolius, had 13 carries for 320 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah. Meanwhile, Ohio's Curtis Rourke went 41-50 for 537 yards and 4 touchdowns. Also had 45 rushing yards and a touchdown. Jacoby Jones was his leading receiver at 6 catches, 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. This game was insanity, and Ohio ended up winning the very end.
Yeah. What a game.
Yeah. What a wild game between those two teams.
I didn't think there would be another game that would have better quarterback play than Clemson Wake Forest, but here we are.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Notre Dame and North Carolina. Notre Dame beats North Carolina 45-32. Notre Dame's offense had looked horrible first 3 weeks. And then they went in North Carolina and they found it. They found it.
Well, it's North Carolina's defense. So
yeah. That's what you need to get back on track on offense. Just play North Carolina.
Yeah.
Drake May again, another great game. 17-32, 31 yards, 5 touchdowns. He has no help on his defensive side.
None whatsoever.
So that stinks for North Carolina, but as a hater, big fan. So
yeah.
Minnesota beats Michigan State 34-7. Michigan State is bad.
Yeah, what in the world is happening in East Lansing?
Yeah. Tanner Morgan, I did not know he was still at Minnesota, but he is still there, and he is still very good. 23-26, 268 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So good for him. And Minnesota ranked now, I believe, and undefeated. James Madison beats App State 32-28. App State pulled an Atlanta Falcons up 28-3 in the second quarter. James Madison comes all the way back and wins it 32-28. James Madison is one, and Coastal are the only 2 undefeated G5s left in the country. So those are your 2 leaders for that New Year's Six bowl spot.
Yep, and James Madison can't even go to it.
Yep, they're ineligible. I listen. You go undefeated. UCF has already shown you there's no law gets thrown in a parade. James Madison,
it's true.
Go and do it.
It's true.
Western Kentucky beats FIU 73-0. Let that sink in a bit.
Yikes! FIU's bad, and now they're getting
a hurricane coming for them. So yikes, all around in that one.
Oof.
UCF beats Georgia Tech 27-10, and Jeff Collins is out.
Praise God.
Yeah, knew it was going to happen, and figured if they didn't have a good showing against UCF. They covered the spread, so they did that, but they did not look good. This was all nights in this one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the guy came in, did nothing, was not competitive really at all, except for that one game against Clemson last year. Didn't do anything against Georgia. Couldn't recruit. All his players transferred out. So now again, leading names. Everybody's like Deion Sanders come back home to Atlanta. I don't know if that's a good move for Deion. I think what he's got at Jackson State's a lot better than what he's got at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Jamie Chadwell from Coastal's up there. I think that makes sense. I mean, Jeff Monken from Army, go back to the triple option.
Yeah, it's true.
Got that available. So it's very interesting to see who Georgia Tech hires because, again, Paul Johnson showed that you don't have to recruit well or have the best athletes or run the best offense to make it work. And he won 2 ACC championships and 2 Orange Bowls. So, I mean, Paul Johnson made it work. So, interesting to see what direction Georgia Tech goes in. Interesting to see what Georgia Tech does the rest of the year. Again, I don't see another win on their schedule. And without their head coach, I don't see another win for sure. So,
yeah,
that's going to be a long year in Atlanta. Oh, speaking of long years, Sacramento State beats Colorado State 41-10. Colorado State and Colorado do not play each other this year, and that's disappointing because I wanted to see who would win the worst teams in Colorado trophy.
Yeah, that would be an awful game.
Yeah. Navy beats ECU in 2 overtimes, 23-20. That's Navy's first win of the year. ECU, after that close one against NC State, just kind of slept walk the past few weeks. In this one, so that's kind of interesting to see there. Iowa beats Rutgers 27-10. Iowa covered, but they hit the over in this game.
Somehow, but Iowa's defense scored more than their offense.
Yes, they at one point in the game, defense had scored more touchdowns than the offense all season. I think the offense finally passed that when they scored at the very end. So
it still stands after 4 weeks of football. If you combine Iowa's defense with North Carolina's offense, that is the greatest team to ever play college football.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. By the way, I missed this and I heard it. Oh God, who is the coach of Rutgers? Oh my gosh. I know his name. We'll have to look this up. 1 second. Greg Schiano.
Yeah.
Has the most wins in the history of Rutgers football. Okay, I want you to think about that.
Yeah.
At Rutgers, Greg Schiano has a record of 79-82.
Oh God.
That is the most wins all time in Rutgers football. Rutgers played in the very first football game. So they have been doing this a while. And Greg Schiano with 79 wins has the most wins in the history of Rutgers football.
Good God.
Yeah. Just I heard that last week and meant to tell you, but forgot. But yeah, Rutgers is bad just as a program.
Yeah.
Troy beats Marshall 16-7. This is key because Marshall beat Notre Dame and has just put it in Park.
Yeah.
So that's hilarious.
Definitely.
New Mexico State beats Hawaii 45-26. Hawaii is now the worst team in all football because New Mexico State, I think, was the worst team in all football. And now on paper, now we've seen what happens when they play each other. And a long year in Hawaii.
Need Hawaii to go to Colorado State or Colorado.
Yes, absolutely. Florida State beats Boston College 44-14. Boston College is garbage.
They are bad.
Yeah, I think Florida State's back. I don't think they're back, but they're good. They're a good team with Jordan Travis at quarterback. They got good defense. They'll be a tough out for sure. I'm not going to say back yet because they still got to play Wake Forest this week, Clemson, NC State, and Florida, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And finally, UL Monroe beats Louisiana 21-17. That's UL Monroe's first win of Louisiana since 2017 and first win at home against them since 2004. So how about the fighting Terry Bowdens of UL Monroe getting the win in a rivalry game? So we'll move to week 5. Waff, we'll start review because your game got moved to tonight when we're recording and putting this episode out. South Carolina State, South Carolina moved because of the impact of Hurricane Ian. Moved to a Thursday night game. But, again, should be one of those. Despite the short week, South Carolina should come out and handle business against the FCS team.
Yeah, they should. Like I said, I would like to see some better stats from Rattler in this game just to give me a little bit more confidence before we go at Kentucky the following week. So Uh, should be a fine game. If South Carolina struggles against South Carolina State, I might yeet myself off a balcony. So is what it is. But this game's on Thursday, which I'm a fan of. So we get to see it a little bit earlier and then have extra time to prep for Kentucky. So I'm not mad.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then of course big game on Saturday night in Clemson and NC State. Both teams 4-0. Both teams' offenses have looked good. NC State's defense has looked good early. NC State top number 10 in the country. Clemson number 5. First time these two teams will meet as top 10 opponents. NC State, beat Clemson last year in double OT. Up in Raleigh, that kind of kept Clemson out of the ACC championship game, and so NC State looking to do it again, get in the driver's seat. NC State offense has not looked great though first couple of weeks, except for last week against UConn. And it looked good against Charleston Southern, but again, that's Charleston Southern and UConn. Clemson again, you don't know about Andrew Makamba or Sheridan Jones yet, so hopefully those guys can get back. Hopefully Xavier Thomas can get back too, and defense can be a lot more healthier. But with Hurricane Ian coming in, I know it's moved a little to the west or to the east now, but still going to be a messy day. But feels like that Notre Dame game a few years ago.
Yeah,
college game day there. It's going to be disgusting, probably. Raining all night long, and Clemson, that was an instant classic. Clemson got the stop on the 2-point conversion, and that helped propel them to the national championship game that year. So, it feels like that for sure. Clemson's a 6.5-point favorite. Again, wouldn't be surprised if Clemson can pull away if their defense is up to special help and up to speed, because this NC State offense has struggled at times, but the defense of NC State is very good. Devin Leary is a good quarterback. It should be a really fun game.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a great one. I'm ready to watch it.
Yeah, interesting to see if the rain is going to affect these offenses too, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so looking at this week, BYU plays Utah State. I think BYU should handle business. Utah State has not looked good at all this year in the season. On Friday, UTSA and Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee coming off that big win. UTSA has close to being 4-0. They almost beat Houston, almost beat Texas, and I got to play Middle Tennessee. That should be a fun one. Washington at UCLA. UCLA is undefeated as well. Washington undefeated with Michael Penix as their quarterback. Should be a fun one down at the Rose Bowl, but of course, only 42 people will be there to watch it because no one cares. Not UCLA football. I'm going to mention this one, Gardner-Webb and Marshall. If Gardner-Webb somehow beats Marshall, that means Gardner-Webb has a chance of win over Notre Dame, and I need this to happen.
Yes.
Dogs, go and do it. I don't know what the line is. I think the line I saw somewhere was like 21. But come on, Gardner-Webb, just go in there and get the upset win. Rolling along. Michigan and Iowa as the big noon Saturday game. Oof. I mean, Iowa's defense is good. Michigan looked kind of shaky last week, but I think Michigan's just got too much power on offense.
Yeah, this game has the potential to be just awful. But
yeah. Classic Big Ten game. It's kicking off at 11 o'clock Central. Sadly, it's not going to be rainy in the central part of America, so that's what we need to make it better. And no Beth Mowens will be on the call since it's on Big Noon Saturday, so that's all we're missing. Kentucky and Ole Miss, sneaky good game. Like we said, Kentucky's been shaky, so is Ole Miss. Over-under's 54. I expect a high-scoring game in this one. Should be a fun one down in Oxford.
Yeah, it should be good. Both teams coming off kind of questionable wins last week, so we'll see what they're made of.
Oklahoma and TCU. I'll see how Oklahoma can bounce back from the loss to Kansas State. Going on the road, that's a tough place to play down in Fort Worth. TCU undefeated, so see if this gets something started. They can get back to their former glory.
Oh, yeah.
Purdue, Minnesota. Minnesota now ranked. I think Aiden O'Connell is still out. He was out for Purdue last week. I think he's still out right now, so that's detrimental to the Boilermakers. And they have Minnesota. Their defense has looked really good this season. I'll see if they can continue it and go to 5-0 under PJ Fleck. Row the boat.
Yes, sir.
Another big game for Texas Tech. They travel to Kansas State.
Ranked Kansas State.
Yeah, ranked Kansas State. So now at Kansas State, you're ranked now. See if you can prove it. Again, still got to shake off that Tulane loss, but Adrian Martinez looked good. But Donovan Smith has done well coming in to step up for the Red Raiders. That another fun. All the early games look really good this week in football, honestly. Rolling on, Navy and Air Force classic rivalry game, first third of the Commander in Chief's Trophy. Air Force is 3-1. I just want to mention Air Force against Nevada had a quarterback. The fourth string quarterback went 1 for 1 for 80 yards and a touchdown. That was the only completed pass of the game for Air Force. So
efficiency.
It was the fourth string quarterback having to come in for one play. So this could get ugly because Navy, I don't think it looks great. Over under is 37.5. So they're not expecting a whole lot of offense though between both these teams because they run the option. Oregon State and Utah. Oregon State coming off a loss to USC. Utah looking to keep rolling, but it's on Pac-12 Network, so no one will get to see it. This game's also kicking off at 11 o'clock local time. I believe.
No, it's 12.
12, that's right. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at Central Time. I'm still not used to that.
Yeah.
ECU in South Florida, they're playing in Boca Raton now because the hurricane had moved up earlier. So I'll mention that. Alabama and Arkansas at 3:30 on CBS. Alabama was a 17.5-point favorite. Arkansas does not get any easier after Texas A&M. They got to play Bama. Well, last year they gave Bama a fright, so see what can happen.
I was honestly surprised that game day didn't go here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, not to say Clemson, NC State didn't deserve it, but
I think if Arkansas would have won, they probably would have gone there, honestly. So if Arkansas would have won state top 10, they probably would have gone there because they'd probably be like, with our Oklahoma losing like 8 or something. So
yeah,
probably would have gone there for sure. Rutgers and Ohio State. All right, Rutgers, 40.5-point underdogs.
Yikes.
Have fun with that one. Ohio State, yeah, they look so good right now.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State and Baylor, sneaky good afternoon game, rematch the Big 12 championship game that was so good. This could be a really fun one over on Fox.
Yeah, for sure.
Another really good game, Wake Forest at Florida State. This first big test for Florida State this year since the LSU game. Wake Forest coming off the loss, see what Sam Hartman can do, what Jordan Travis can do, over under 65. So expecting a lot of offense from these two quarterbacks. Another really fun game for sure.
Yep.
Kansas and Iowa State. Kansas is at 3:30 on ESPN2. You love to see it.
Woo!
Love to see it. Another big test for the Jayhawks. Iowa State is favored by 3 points. That's just because the Vegas is a bunch of haters. I'm all in on the Jayhawks right now. Again, Kansas 4-0, looking to get the 5-0, which is just wild to think about right now.
Oh, I know.
Michigan State and Maryland. Michigan State's got to find a way to rebound. So does Maryland. Maryland's picked to win by 7.5. So it could get ugly for Michigan State real quick.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech and North Carolina. North Carolina picked to win by 9. I will never trust North Carolina until their defense gets together, but Virginia Tech's offense is so bad that who knows what's going to happen in that one. Texas A&M and Mississippi State. Mississippi State is favored in this one, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Texas A&M coming off that big win over Arkansas, so interesting to see what happens there in that one. But Mississippi State has beaten A&M in the past. Will Rogers has 16 touchdown passes already this season, so he's just going to sling that thing and see what happens for sure. Washington State hosts Cal. Cal is 3-1 as well, so they look interesting. But again, also on the Pac-12 network, so no one's going to see it.
Right.
Liberty and Old Dominion. Old Dominion got off again. Had just an up and down season, 2-2. Close loss to Virginia and ECU. Liberty had that close game against Wake Forest. This should be a fun one between two in-state rivals. LSU and Auburn kick off at 7 o'clock. You don't have to watch this game. If you love yourself, you don't have to watch this game because this game is going to be just as dumb as that Missouri-Auburn game.
Agreed.
Like it kicks off at almost the same time as Clemson NC State. I can assure you that game's going to be not as stupid, I don't think, but who knows? That weird things happen every time these two teams play each other. So who knows? But what's weird is that the winner of this game moves to 4-1, which is just wild to think about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Georgia and Missouri. Oh God.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah, Georgia. I don't think Missouri's scoring 20 points on Georgia because let's see that. West Virginia and Texas. Interesting game. Again, West Virginia is the team that started the horns down a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So kind of building a rivalry there in the Big 12. Indiana and Nebraska. Nebraska had the week off. Nebraska just picked win by 5.5. That's a one possession game. Oh boy. Oh boy,
oh
Nebraska.
God. They're in for it, buddy.
Yeah, you're ready for some heartbreak there. That one. And then some late night ones. Colorado, Arizona. I just mentioned that because there's a chart. Somebody makes these charts of offensive and defensive efficiency. And if you're in the red, that means you're in the worst ranking. If you're in the blue, you're in the top 25, and white, you're in the middle. It was comparing these two teams. Colorado, every single category except for, I think, first down defense was in red.
Yikes.
That's how bad Colorado is. And the first down defense was in white, so they were pretty average on that. So, good thing this game's on the Pac-12 network, so no one can watch it. So,
yeah, praise God.
Yeah. And then Arizona State, USC. Again, Arizona State, kind of mentioned Herm Edwards out. We talked about that too. And rumors that it was his staffers got him out by leaking information. So,
yeah, crazy story there.
Congrats to Arizona State for never getting another job in coaching ever again. So,
right.
Yeah, that's a weird story that's still going on there. I mean, it didn't work because Arizona State lost by like 34-13 to Utah. So, new coach didn't work, but interesting to see. Now they got to go to USC. And then Stanford and Oregon. Oregon's picked to win by 17, but Stanford has upset Oregon the past few years. And with Bo Nix at quarterback, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you truly never know.
Yeah. So I think you think Oregon should win this, but who knows? And then Sunday, I already had two games moved to Sunday because of Hurricane Ian. Eastern Washington and Florida. Florida should handle business there. This could be a fun one. SMU and UCF playing at 1 o'clock. It's going to be on some ESPN network, I believe, is what they said. So that's a little Sunday college football action.
Well, Sunday college football. I'm never gonna complain about that. So
yeah, and so of course everybody in Florida, hope you stay safe. You're in the path of Hurricane Ian. Again, these games kind of stinks. They're moving these games around, but understand why you do it. Don't want to get trapped anywhere, especially down in Florida. Again, impact in South Carolina shouldn't be as bad. It's probably just a lot of rain. Going to be a disgusting day on Saturday, but good day to stay inside and watch football. So
yeah, for sure.
So that will probably do it for us. We'll do a quick baseball look, because like football games, we have to interrupt with Aaron Judge. Still hasn't hit that home run yet. Has Aaron Judge?
He's been walked 9 straight times as of right now. So
I think it'd be hilarious if the teams they play, I don't know who they all have left, but the teams they are playing are eliminated with nothing to play for. Just walk them every single time.
Yeah.
These games don't matter. Just make it as stupid as you can for the rest of the year. Braves, they are half a game back of the Mets. I believe they were winning last time I saw.
Braves won today. And the Mets are currently losing to the Marlins. So after tonight, we could be all knotted up at the top of the East standings. So it's still up for grabs between Atlanta and New York, but both teams have already clinched a playoff berth. So
they do play each other in a 3-game set in Atlanta in the next series. So that could decide it there. Someone gets that's it, really. So depending on how these other two series go. Looking at the wild card, Braves can clinch the playoff spot, so they're in. They don't have to worry about it. Padres are in by 2 games, and the Phillies are up by 1 game on the Brewers in the NL wild card. And the Giants, they got 8 games back, so they got to make a run. The Giants kind of looking impossible. Diamondbacks eliminated, but shout out, they made it further than I think everybody expected them to.
Yeah, for sure.
AL. still open, but the Mariners starting to slip a little bit. Blue Jays are up by 2.5. Rays up by half a game. Mariners are in. Just 3.5 up of the Orioles and then 7.5 the White Sox. The White Sox, by the way, absolutely blew it in the AL Central.
Yes, they did.
Cleveland Guardians won that by sweeping the White Sox. And the Minnesota Twins also still alive, but White Sox and Twins are kind of on the cusp of they have to win. The White Sox have lost 6 in a row. So,
losers.
Yeah. Mariners, please do not do this to your team.
Yeah, please.
Please get in there.
End the heartbreak.
Yep. Got to get in if you're the Mariners. And I don't know if you saw Waff, but we'll talk about this more later. But college basketball official start day was today. First day of official practice in D1.
Yes, sir.
So, basketball right around the corner. Been looking at some of the games. Going to be a fun season. Again, Duke going to be weird. No Coach K. Going to be John Shire taking over. He's done great recruiting though. So interesting to see what Duke does. I know. Also looking at the women's side, South Carolina looking to repeat as the national champions. Clemson, Brad Brownell is in a year where he's got to prove something. Once again, he's been riding that Sweet 16 berth and struggled since then. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what all happens in college basketball, but that's going to be exciting. NBA coming up soon, too, with media days happening, preseason games getting ready to start. And also, you got NHL getting ready to start, too. They have started their preseason. So it's about to be a really good time for sports soon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it'll be a lot of fun, and we will be here to cover it. Waff, got anything you want to say?
Not a whole lot. Just excited to watch some football. Glad that Carolina's game gets moved to Thursday, and hope everybody in Florida can stay safe for sure. But I'm ready to sit down and enjoy the weekend.
Yep, absolutely. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you stay safe. If you're in the path of the hurricane, maybe just bunker down. If you're in a part that's not too bad, bunker down. Just enjoy some football this weekend. Hope you stay safe. And thank you for tuning in to Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard.